Hey everybody, welcome back to the Veteran Teacher Files. I'm your host, the Dragon Lady, veteran educator, survival of middle school chaos, and former professional confiscator of spinning objects. Around here, we keep the students anonymous, the stories honest, and the memories just blurry enough to protect my blood pressure. Tonight, we're talking about classroom trends. Not educational trends, not district initiatives. No. I'm talking about the things that completely hijacked school culture over the years. Because if you've taught long enough, you can date your career by nonsense. You don't remember years, you remember eras. The dabbing era, the water bottle flipping era, the fidget spinner apocalypse, teachers age in internet trends. And the funny thing is, at the time, we all thought, this can't possibly get any weirder. And then somehow, it always does. So tonight, we're going on a nostalgic little journey through the trends that lived in my classroom, rent-free over the years. When I first started teaching, High School Musical was huge. The kids were emotionally invested in Troy and Gabriella like it was real life. Every talent show had at least 3 kids singing. We're all in this together. And honestly, after every parent-teacher conference, we really were. Now, I tried to act cool and pretend like I didn't care, but then one weekend I accidentally binge-watched all of the movies. And suddenly I had opinions. The next thing you know, I'm grading papers, humming Disney Channel songs. Then came Twilight. Lord help me. I devoured those books so fast you would have thought there was extra credit attached. I even had a Twilight poster in my classroom. Now, in hindsight, was it professional to have sparkly vampires watching over math instruction? Probably not. But listen, teaching was stressful, and Edward Cullen was apparently part of my emotional support system. And the students loved finding out that teachers like the same things they do. That's the funny thing about teaching. Sometimes connections happen in the weirdest ways. Not through a lesson plan, through vampire dramas. Now, before students took over our brains with TikTok dances, teachers had their own addiction. Was anybody else into Facebook games? I know I was into Farmville. Why were grown adults waking up worried about digital strawberries? Teachers were out during lunch saying, "Can somebody feed my cows before lunch?" And then students discovered Clash of Clans. And suddenly every child sounded like they were running organized crime. I got attacked last night. Our clan lost trophies. We're going to war. Sir, you're 11. But the biggest gaming takeover of my career? Minecraft. Minecraft had a chokehold on children. And one year I decided, you know what? I'm going to stick this cardboard box in my head. So I made myself a Minecraft costume out of a cardboard box that was just the perfect size and just so happened to randomly be in my classroom. Now let me tell you something. Nothing humbles you faster than sweating inside a cardboard cube while trying to teach 20-something students. "Miss, look this way! Miss, look this way!" I looked like an unemployed Rubik's Cube. But the kids thought it was the greatest thing ever. And honestly, they still remember that stuff. I have one kid from that class who's now in his 20s, and he hit me up on Instagram and remembers that incident that day. He doesn't remember the fact that I wore donkey ears to the Christmas concert, but he does remember the day that I wore a cardboard box on my head. The fact that their teacher was willing to look absolutely ridiculous stayed with him 20 years later. Now, if you taught during the Vine era, you may be entitled to compensation because Vine audio clips invaded schools like a disease. Every hallway sounded like chaos. Yeet! What are those? And unfortunately for me, the "what are those" trend was directed at my shoes constantly. Now listen, my teacher shoes are not designed for fashion. I know some of you are wearing really cute shoes. Like I mentioned before, I'm a runner, so I wear a size 9, and except for those few years that I taught kindergarten in high heels, My teacher shoes are designed for survival. If I'm standing for 8 hours, breaking up arguments, running to yard duty, and walking across campus carrying boxes of dry erase markers, my shoes are going to look orthopedic and responsible. And children do not respect responsible footwear. They roasted me daily. The middle schoolers were so dramatic too. You'd walk in wearing perfectly normal shoes and they'd act like you just entered wearing scuba flippers. Now, let's discuss the dab. The dab was unavoidable. Everybody dabbed. Athletes dabbed, teachers dabbed, grandmas were probably dabbing. I have a 6th grade science camp picture where every single student is dabbing. Every single one. You can't identify a single child in the photo because all of their faces are buried in their elbows. Future generations are going to find these pictures and think, this must have been some sort of ceremonial greeting. And of course, students always wanted the teachers to dab too. And nothing makes you feel more ancient faster than students trying to teach you internet dances. No, you try to do the dance. And once you do suddenly try it, they're like, no, you're doing it wrong. First of all, I pay taxes. Don't yell at me. Now let me tell you about one of the dumbest classroom battles I've ever fought. Water bottle flipping. Why did this become an Olympic sport overnight? Kids were emotionally committed to flipping partially filled water bottles onto desks. And they actually acted like every successful flip cured a disease. Ooh! Sir, you landed a Dasani bottle upright. Relax. I got so mad, I had to send a letter home about acceptable water bottles. Now imagine being the parent opening that email. Not about grades, not about behavior, no. A formal warning about Aquafina, Kirkland, whatever, generic water bottles. Teaching's absurd. And the worst part, the kids couldn't even focus during lessons because suddenly they had water bottles going off, just flipping randomly out of nowhere. So yeah, how can you concentrate? Now, when I taught kinder and 1st grade, who let the dogs out was everywhere. And unfortunately, the word dog comes up constantly when you're teaching beginning readers. And who is a sight word. So every lesson turned into karaoke. Who? I'm just trying to teach literacy. Meanwhile, the class has become this little baby nightclub. And then later I moved to middle school, where maturity goes to die. Every time I said, the answer is D, it felt like the whole class would yell out, D's nuts. Every time. Didn't matter if it was science, history, math. Middle school teaching is just surviving tiny comedians with no self-control. Now, even though I'm no longer in the classroom teaching, I still get to walk around a lot. And I notice trends. I noticed the 6'7" trend. I'm noticing the K-pop demon hunters, TikTok sounds, and random phrases that nobody over 30 understands. Every generation thinks their trends are normal. But it isn't. None of this is ever normal. And that's what makes working with kids so entertaining. They bring energy, chaos, confusion, and somehow it all turns into joy. Even the annoying trends become funny memories later. Well, most of them. I still twitch every now and then when I hear a plastic water bottle. So friends, that's tonight's episode of the Veteran Teacher Files. I'm your host, the Dragon Lady, reminding you that if you survive teaching through multiple trend eras, you deserve free therapy. And maybe it's time to get orthopedic shoes with arch support. So I want to hear from you. What trend completely took over your classroom and your workspace? Was it fidget spinners, silly bands, TikTok dances, planking, the floss? What's the funniest thing students ever roasted you for? Send me your stories because I know some of you have survived educational nonsense too. Until next time, Stay strong, stay funny, and if a child starts flipping a water bottle near you, run. All right, guys. Until next time.